Good day, everyone. I go by the name of TSHOLO, and here besides me is
MANTELE,
and I am Goodness Khanye.
On today's podcast, we are going to discuss the story of My Passion by Ken Temba. The context will be on creatively analyzing romantic love across ethnic lines, and the themes we're going to focus on is race, gender and marginality, power, identity and control, and lastly, it will be space and rights to the city.
Despite cultural indifferences, the relationship of Linga and Mapula was bound to happen. So basically, it's like they were soulmates. It is evident in the novel when they had a secret relationship because they knew they were crossing the boundaries that were set for each ethical group. Multiracial relationships were not allowed during the 1950s. Their relationship could be used to break the tribalism between the Xhosas and the Sothos. So I have a question for you guys. Do you still think the tribalism between multicultural relationships still take place in the 21st century?
Oh, that's an interesting question. But in my own opinion, I highly disagree because in the 21st century, which is now, people are able to date or to go outside their group or their tribe. For instance, people who now work in the international states, a person can be a Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, and they are able to date a person who is maybe South Korean or other tribes from the outside. So they are maybe raised, they are mixed and not based on that tribe per se.
Well, that's an interesting answer, Gani. According to my understanding, I agree. Reason being that people should still maintain the notion of dating within their cultural groups or ethnic groups. Take it for instance, the Zulu culture. They have that mindset that they want to preserve their traditional beliefs, their social norms, and the generational beliefs. Dating within the same ethnic group can help people promote their value and their level of understanding in terms of culture. Okay guys, moving right along, we're going to touch bases on the following two themes which we find that are intertwined. The first one is power, identity and control, and the second one is race, gender and marginality. I'm going to hand over the platform to my fellow partner.
Okay, thank you. In terms of race and marginality, the apartheid system was implemented to divide people according to their racial groups. People during apartheid era were forced to stay in their racial groups. Like for example, black people were not supposed to live in white areas. Because of marginality, black people cannot fight the oppressive white system. So their anger is inflicted inward. They end up turning on each other. The same way the Sothos and Xhosas turn on each other.
In the story.
Yes.
Okay, makes
Interesting. Do you think that the system in the apartheid era was fair in terms of division?
No, because it created a hierarchy ranking between the lower class and the upper class.
Okay.
And it also created high amount of violence and crime, especially in black communities because of lack of opportunities.
Thank you.
Okay guys, and then for the theme of gender and power, my subtopics will be masculinity, fear and violence. Men are seen as superior while women are seen as inferior. According to mob mentality, Mapula was expected to follow the society's beliefs, it being that if she decides to date, she should date only a Russian ethnic group. But he decided to turn against that belief by dating Linga, which is evident in the story. And then moving forward, masculinity is linked to power, and men often use aggression to protect their pride and status. The community also judges men based on how much control they have in difficult situations.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the information that you just shared, please state or give me at least an example of masculinity that is evident in the story by Kentamba Mopassion.
Okay, one example which is evident in the story in terms of masculinity is the group that was formed of the mob within the community. And just to add on the part of the theme of gender and power, fear is also another important part of the story. The characters are afraid of humiliation and losing respect, meaning fear contributes to violent behavior, because some people in the story show that violence is the only way in solving their problems. For example, after the mob group find out that Linga is not part of the Russians and he was part of the Xhosa ethnic group, Uncle Alpheus took the initiative to use an axe against him, and therefore it resulted in Linga's death. Yeah.
In addition to theme of power, it is evident through mob mentality. The society believes that Mapula was supposed to date within the Sotho cultural group instead of the
Dating a different
Yes.
different group.
Many societies believe that women are supposed to follow the societal rules.
Mm-hmm.
So they are basically they are seen as inferior.
Meaning they are seen, they are lower in rank.
Yes.
Okay.
Mapula breaks the racial stereotype by dating outside her racial group.
Okay, guys, moving right along, we'll be focusing on the theme of spaces and rise to the city. Based on my understanding, I would say Sophia Town is one of the settings that is relevant to this theme.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, Sophia Town was one of the few urban areas which black communities used to reside there. Therefore, they felt some sense of ownership.
According to the information that is just given, I will be adding on the theme of space and rights to the city.
Mm-hmm.
During the 1950s, people had to carry the passes, which was also known as the dompas.
Yes.
The dompas, it allowed people to move from the townships and to the urban areas. However, people who were allowed to go from the townships to the urban areas were people who had any form of employment or anything that has to do with them being in the city. And again, they did not had enough time for them to be in the city. They had a limited time to be in the urban areas.
And they also had to state the reason of them going to the urban city.
Yes. Meaning after that duration that you are given, maybe to be around the urban city, you have to go back home.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if they didn't carry the numbers, it's either they went to jail or they were given some sort of punishment. In addition to the theme, which is also evident in the story, the Basotho people, which were also referred as to the Marashia, they were visible also in the 1950s. During the 1950s, the Basotho people formed a group of Sotho people only, which were named the Marashia. This group was a group of men, mainly who were men from the mines. And the Mauritians had the mentality of controlling the woman's body, mentalities, and everything that has to do with women, which is also evident in the story as to why Mapula and Linga shouldn't be dating, because Linga is a Letavele and Mapula is a Sotho.
In addition to what you said, it was difficult for two racial groups to avoid each other because they were using the same mode of transport. It is evident in the story when they said Mapula had to pretend like she doesn't know Linda in the train. This shows that she was avoiding to create commotion that could happen between the Xhosas and the Sothos.
Yeah, because they were not allowed to date outside that
Yes.
tribe.
The tribes, yes.
Okay.
In addition, another key point relating to this theme is overcrowding. Overcrowding happens when too many people are forced to live in a space that is too small. In the story of More Passion, this isn't just an accident. It was caused by laws that were passed from black communities to be stuck in cramped areas or tiny areas.
In conclusion, all the themes that we have mentioned are all intertwined to each other. People in the 1950s were all oppressed, more especially the the Africans, coloreds, and Indians, who were then segregated from the whites because they didn't have much access to resources, proper sanitation, and everything. They lacked privacy and they lived in overcrowded spaces. And back in the 1950s, it was very important for people to know themselves and their identity because, as Ken Temba uses in the story, it was easy for Linga to have tried to fit in the Basotho or the Marashian group because of wanting to be closer to Mapula. So back in the 1950s, want to know their identity and to know where they come from, it was very important and to stick to that tribe. And to conclude, from what I've learned from the story is that love conquers all. Mapula and Lenga defied all odds by staying with each other and staying together, despite the political things that were happening during the 1950s.
Okay, what I've learned from the story is that people tend to misuse power in a wrong way. Basically, they feel like if they have power, they have authority of being in control of other people's lives. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, and this also creates, as you've mentioned before, this also creates the ranking in classes, the lower and the higher working class.
Thank you.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.